I was wrong in doing what I did.
No, no! No! Are you listening?
Sean here. I thought we'd have an interesting discussion. I cannot understand for the life of me how Lorne Armstrong has not figured out how his probation and parole haven't slapped him across the face and said, look, here is the real reason you are still on probation, lifetime supervision. I still hear him spitting garbage on the latest calls about, oh, the reason I'm on probation and parole is because I'm being catfished. That's why I'm still in class. And I think I understand what he misunderstood. I think what Lorne misunderstood was, they said, Lorne, you are talking to people that you can't verify their age. We are trying to teach you that is not okay. So until you learn not to talk to people on the internet that you can't verify who they are, you're going to remain in this class. Lorne loves and hates the class. It gives him a captive audience, people to tell his lies to. I use DSP a lot. He loves his teeny little audience, 150 to 200 viewers. He was getting low tips. Sorry, if you like DSP, you'll love this. I mean, even some of the big streamers are dying laughing at him. We made a prediction that the tips were low, and that all of a sudden his house would blow up or he'd have a medical issue. Sure enough, WWE Champions can't pay for itself. This morning, guys, I can't disclose what I'm having done, but I've got a big medical issue. Come on, man. He likes that little audience he can lie and tell, and I'm making a point. And Lorne likes that little audience that he can lie and feel better about himself when they're talking about real problems that they're trying to conquer. They're trying to better themselves. They're trying to beat. And Lorne is looking at that thinking, I ain't got to deal with that. No, Lorne, you're not dealing with that. And start spitting bullshit about Casey and whoever else. He doesn't get it. And one of the moments that made me just want to chuck my phone across the room was when I was listening to him tell Casey that his probation, her name starts with an A, Allison, or whoever it is. You know what? I don't even give a shit. Told him, and this is why he's so dumb. He thought his probation and parole officer told him, be careful what you send, because I have to read those. What he thinks is happening is that his probation and parole officer is trying to tell him to hide that he's doing something wrong. So, as a heads up, like, hey man, cops are going to be down at Dock 17 tonight, Jimmy. You might not want to be there. He's thinking probation and parole is telling him, don't send that stuff, Lorne, because I'm going to be looking at it. Okay, Lorne, don't bring your drugs when you come to this meeting, because we're going to be searching. He's so dumb. There comes a time in everyone's life when they have to take a step back and look at themselves or look at their situation or figure out what is it exactly that I'm doing. Why am I at where I'm at? Lorne has help. He has probation and parole. He has a group of people telling him this is why you're at where you're at. He has other people who are making steady progress, hopefully, in their lives in his class saying, look, dude, you're not going to make any progress until you stop. And Lorne is always talking about, well, you pissed me right off when they try to tell me I can't talk to you. Probably didn't even say you can't. They said you shouldn't, Lorne. This is not healthy for you. You need a real relationship. You don't need to be with somebody like that. You need to find somebody in your area. Now, we all know he can't. We all know that Lorne will never find someone in his area. He's disgusting. Probably smells disgusting. Probably tell him right off the bat, you know I got fungus on my toe. That is the last thing I would be sharing with someone. But that shows you that Lorne thinks that he and Casey are married because they're sharing that kind of garbage. If I'm trying to win a woman over, I'm putting on, as we said before, I'm on my best behavior, putting on my mental best suit, I'm trying to do the best that I can to say, hey, I'm worth it. But all Lorne does is say, I am not worth it. Every time he picks up the phone, if probation and parole should just tell him, look, Every time you pick up the phone, there's a chance it could be recorded and put on the internet. And that does you harm, Lorne, because we hear how you treat other people. And of course he'd say, well, they make me, just tell him, for the love of God, please tell Lorne, you are responsible for your own behavior, for your own reaction, for how much you're going to let things get to you. And that's probably what he would tell them. And they're screaming at him in so many words and in a hushed tone probably, Lorne, you need to stop. But he can't. I bet when he's in that class and they're telling him, you need to quit talking to people on the internet, this dude is thinking, when is this over so I can get home and start making those calls and text messages again? If they ever heard a woman say, Lorne, we aren't even together, I've never met you, and hearing him screaming, you're damn right it's my business, and then start questioning everything that person is doing, I think there'd be a real problem. I think there'd be a huge problem. I think that those people, his counselor, everybody, they need to tell him, Lorne, no more Mr. Nice Guy, Mr. Nice Girl, whatever they want to say. We're not going to play nice anymore. You have failed and failed and failed. You can't understand what's going on. You are not normal. You are a case that nobody wants to deal with because of how far gone you are. But we have to try. You're at the end of your rope. We're running out of things to try. You have no hope as it is right now of ever getting off probation. You will be lifetime. I'm telling you, Lorne, if you don't change, there are going to be real repercussions. Maybe not even with the law. Maybe, Lorne, your life is going to be so far gone because it's already bouncing on the edge of a hole in the edge. It's going to be so far gone that you can never pull it back to a manageable place. All of that stuff you're saying is just right around the corner. It's never going to happen, buddy. His probation and parole have been too easy on him, in my opinion. But then again, they're probably doing exactly what they're supposed to do. They don't want to make their client upset. Not client, you know what I mean. Their assignment, they don't want to make him upset because then he'll cause a big stink and then there'll be a complaint and then there has to be an investigation and then so on and so forth. Because it's a state-sanctioned, federally sanctioned program, whatever. So they have to walk on their tiptoes around this dude, handle him with kid gloves. They want to do whatever they can to get him out of there. And I thought for a long time maybe they were just ignoring him. Just trying to let him, please get out of here, Lorne. Please stop answering the phone. Just get out of here. We don't want to deal with you anymore. But the longer I thought about it, there's no way these people would ever want this guy free on the streets. They'd come to terms, and here's what I think has happened. I know I'm rambling a bit, but here's what I think has happened. They'd come to terms with the fact that he's never, ever getting off probation and parole. Ever. They know he's a lifer. So they kind of just let him settle in. We're going to be dealing with this guy. We got to play the long game. But I don't think Lorne understands that. He probably feels like, well, they care about me more than anybody else, and we've all screamed it. They're not there to protect you. They're there to protect everyone else. But unless they slap him in the face and tell him, you're not here because you're getting catfished. You're not here because of people putting things on the internet about you. You're here because you put yourself in those situations. Because you haven't shown improvement. You refuse to learn. You think you know everything. No matter what we say, you do the opposite. You have a massive problem. You'll never admit it. And we can't let you out into the world because your environment, even if we did, your environment is not healthy. You're isolated. You don't have a lot of interaction. You'd have too much time on your hands. And the first day you got on the computer, the first day Lorne got on the computer, we know what he's doing. He's going to find a chat room. Unless he can't get his computer to boot up. But if that computer boots up, give him an hour and a half, boredom sets in, Or maybe the first day he'd watch all YouTube videos. Who knows? Listening to me ramble, Heelborn's channel, whoever else. You know what I'm talking about. Going out there and checking. But sooner than later, this dude's going to get on the computer and he's going to try to hit up young women. Now, maybe not underage right off the bat. So, probation and parole, you probably already know this. But he's going to hit up younger women. And the age is going to go down the less luck he has. Until he can find a decoy that's going to respond. Lorne would probably chicken out. Then he would jump right back into that conversation, realizing there's nothing else going on. I know I'm a little bit off topic, but this goes with the probation and parole. And this is why they know this. If we know this, they have to know this. They have to. Because I'm certain they don't sit around and listen to Lorne, because there are tons of things going on in their other assignments' lives. But they've listened to enough to understand that this guy has no business being unsupervised in the real world. He should not be on the internet. All they have to do is look at the Rhoda incident. He's a selfish manipulator who can't seem to understand why he's on probation, why he's on lifetime supervision, and he'll never get off of it. If Casey is the last catfish, that would be the best catfish in the world to end on. The closest thing to a real woman he will have ever spoken to. If anyone else can find anything more about Sherry, I would appreciate it. Again, listening to Blue Boy's call, it's going to be when Lorne caught up with her when she was 30 or in her early 30s, which means it'd be before the sting. Moving on. I just remember that. So, again, unless probation and parole lays it out, unless they hammer it into his brain, he's going to continue to believe whatever he wants, because that's the only way he can survive. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one.
Yeah,